frustrating, brutal season, as you mentioned. 4-19 record is how it ends for Brian Callahan, less than 2 years into his tenure.
I mean, if we keeping the buck right now, we ass. So we 0-4. We have, this point, we got nothing to lose. We dropped a quarter of our games and we've yet to do anything, so we have to lock in.
On April 24th, the Tennessee Titans found the new face of their franchise when they drafted quarterback Cam Ward out of Miami with the first overall pick. And honestly, it seemed like a pretty sick move considering how cool Cam Ward was whenever he was doing interviews. I mean, look at the way he approached the game in comparison to Shedeur Sanders.
Football.
You ain't got no hobbies outside of that?
Play football.
That's
all
the only
I
hobby?
want people to know me as football player. Let's search up Cam Ward. We say American football.
I mean, this is a guy that you could easily get behind if you're a football fan. And the Titans got him after being quite literally the worst team in football last year. The Titans put the ball in Ward's hands, hoping that he could lead them out of this misery that they've been in for the last couple of years. But that hasn't happened. Over a month into Cam Ward's rookie season, the Titans are still arguably the worst team in football. And their new franchise player has even made this known on live television. Since then, after a Week 6 loss to the 1-4 Raiders, the Tennessee Titans have made their decision to fire their head coach Brian Callahan. There's a major problem in Nashville, but it's not what you think it is. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The Tennessee Titans just fired their head coach, and honestly, it's a miracle that he even lasted this long. After the firing of Mike Vrabel following the 2023 season, Tennessee brought in Callahan in an attempt to sort of turn the tide a bit for the franchise. But man, that is the complete opposite of what happened. Callahan finished his time in Tennessee with an abysmal 4-19 record, and really showed zero signs of improvement, both from within the organization and on the field. He was tasked with coaching Cam Ward through his rookie season. Instead, he becomes the 4th straight head coach of a first-round draft pick quarterback to be fired in said quarterback's rookie season, joining Urban Meyer in 2021, Frank Reich in 2023, and Matt Eberflus in 2024. Things are rough in Tennessee, and I know Cam Ward hasn't been great, but you can't point the finger at him just yet. The Titans are currently sitting at the bottom of the AFC South with a 1-5 record, but who's actually to blame is a lot more complicated than you think. With Callahan being fired, it's clear that the Titans decided that they needed a change, but obviously not at the quarterback position. It'd be very easy to sit here and blame Cam Ward for all these losses, considering his stats on paper, but I don't think his statistics tell the whole story. In his first 6 career starts, Ward has completed only 55% of his passes for 1,101 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. But if you take a deep dive into the Titans offense thus far, you'll be surprised to realize that the rookie quarterback is not solely to blame.
First one in the building, last one out of the building, working like crazy, doing all the right stuff until they win a championship. He is the kid who got up there and said that, the same way Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts.
Now, Ward has been really bad from an efficiency standpoint. There's no sugarcoating that. If you take a look at this chart, Cam Ward has been quite literally the worst quarterback in the league in both completion percentage above expected and expected points added per play. I mean, just look at his stats compared to Will Levis through their first 4 career starts. Tennessee drafted Ward to replace Levis, but so far, he looks like a significant downgrade on paper, which by the way is a huge reason why I didn't make a video on Cam Ward yet. I just felt like it was too early and too soon. And yes, I see all the comments asking for a Cam Ward video on every video I make on Shedeur Sanders. I personally was waiting until some development could happen before we could pick his game apart, but now that something significant happened, we definitely had to make a video on this. Now, I need to show you why this isn't completely Cam Ward's fault. Every single person on the Tennessee Titans offense has been horrible. If you take a look at their offense through the first 4 games of the season, before they got their first win against the Cardinals in week 5, they had the worst offense in football, according to PFF, with a 54.8 offensive grade. They had the worst passing grade at 51.1, the 8th worst pass block grade at 49.8, the 2nd worst receiving grade at 59.7, the 3rd worst run grade at 63.4, and the 7th worst run block grade at 52.7. Everyone has sucked for Tennessee, including Cam Ward, and the real reason why is because of Callahan, which ultimately led to his firing. But now, a name you may not have heard of has become a big part of the blame as well, and that's quarterbacks coach Bo Hardigree. Now, I know what you might be thinking, Mike, what in the world does a quarterbacks coach have to do with anything? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Last year, Brian Callahan was the offensive play caller for Tennessee, but after the season they had, he he realized that he wasn't the guy for the job, so he passed duties on to Bo Hardigree after week 3 this year, despite him only being the quarterback's coach. And of course, the first week that Hardigree was calling plays for Tennessee, they got shut out by the winless Houston Texans. That decision was completely questionable, and it's showing because on film, Cam Ward did his job the best he could in this game. The play calling was just awful, and those of you who think I'm just moving some goalpost and need statistical proof from me, this is for you. The only time Hardigree has ever called plays on offense before this season was in 2023 when he became the interim offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders after they fired their head coach Josh McDaniels, and after their offensive coordinator Mick Lombardi was fired as well. In that season, the Raiders finished 15th in the NFL with a 71.2 PFF offensive grade, but if you only look at games after McDaniels and Lombardi were fired, and you take out their 63-point outlier explosion against the 5-12 Los Angeles Chargers in Week 15, the Raiders' offensive grade was an abysmal 65.9 on average. Even with the 63-point game in Week 15, their offensive grade was still only a 67.6. The Raiders literally had a higher offensive grade with an offensive coordinator that they fired calling plays than they did under Bo Hardigree. That right there is cold, hard proof despite Cam Ward's underwhelming numbers on paper so far. The Titans don't have a quarterback problem. They have a play calling problem if Brian Callahan thought he was doing a worse job than this guy could. I'm going to show you guys a few plays that perfectly demonstrate the pure incompetence of Bo Hardigree and just how much it affected Cam Ward and the Titans offense as a whole against Houston. In this play, Cam Ward is in his first drive of the game and is looking to make a big impact before Houston even has a chance to respond. Lined up at their own 39-yard line on 1st and 10, Tennessee comes out in a simple shotgun formation, and Houston responds with a simple set with 4 down linemen, but with a loaded box pre-snap due to there being 3 playmakers on or behind the line of scrimmage in Calvin Ridley, Chika Kongwu, and Tony Pollard. Ward sends Ridley in motion pre-snap, and with nobody following him, it was clear that Houston was in zone coverage. Ward sees that, and he's now ready for the snap. Now, this is where things get really bad for Tennessee. Ward and Pollard run a play action in the backfield, which is fine, but where Hardigree really messed up is how he schemed the offensive line. While the play action is going on in the backfield, every single offensive lineman shifts to his left, with the center Lloyd Cushenberry even pulling completely to that side of the field. This is a very well executed blocking scheme if you're actually running the ball, but you're not. At the point where Cam Ward pulls the ball back and goes to look downfield, 2 offensive linemen are blocking the same defensive tackle. 2 more are on their own dedicated man, and one, the pulling Cushenberry, is blocking absolutely nobody. Just based on simple math, that leaves 1 unblocked rusher if Houston rushed at least 4, which they were obviously going to do with the way they were lined up pre-snap. And that man just happens to be Will Anderson on the side of the field where each and every offensive lineman ran away from. So when all 5 linemen shifted an entire gap to their left once the ball was snapped, that left him with absolutely nothing to do but just stand there and wait to see if Ward was going to pull the ball back. Well, he does this because it's a designed play action, and Anderson is free to rush him with absolutely nobody there to try to stop him. Now, this part's pretty impressive. Somehow Ward outruns him and forces him to miss, and launches an absolute rocket 40 yards downfield across his body to Alec Iomanner for a huge play. On the stat sheet, that's a 40-yard gain, and that's it. But it's so unbelievably clear that this play was made because of Cam Ward, and nobody but Cam Ward. Bo Hardigree set him up to fail. This next play isn't one I need to go super in depth on, but man, when I watched this happen while going over the film for this video, I was so disappointed. On 3rd and 12 from the Houston 45-yard line, this was a situation where Cam Ward would have to make a play and at least get 8 or 9 yards to make a Joey Sly field goal attempt manageable. And it looks like that's what's going to happen when Kongwu motions across the line. But as soon as Ward snaps the ball, Kongwu crashes and Cam Ward hands the freaking ball off. The play got stuck at the line of scrimmage, and Tennessee was forced to punt. I mean, are you kidding me? What did Bo Hardigree expect to happen here? If this is 4 down territory, sure, this is an okay play call. But when you're down 6 early in the 3rd quarter, you need to take your points where you can get them. Call a play with Calvin Ridley or someone sitting on a hook 8 yards down the field and give them a chance to get the first off of that. And if not, you're at least at the 37 or 38 yard line, giving your kicker a 55-ish yard field goal instead of giving the ball back to a team that that is currently beating you. This is just terrible play calling here and awful game management. The last play isn't a Bo Hardigree thing because he wasn't calling plays when this happened, but it's honestly an offensive line thing. Tennessee lines up on this 2nd and 8 in a tight trips formation with 3 receivers close in proximity on the left side of the field. Ward snaps the ball, and if you pay attention to the left tackle, there are 2 Rams rushing right at him, and since this isn't Jonathan Ogden, he has to make a decision on which man he wants to block. Well, whether he chose the inside rusher or he just doesn't see the outside rusher, a Ram comes speeding in from outside the tackle to come and get Cam. But honestly, it might not even matter if he came in untouched or not, because with how quickly this play broke down, it seemed like every interior offensive lineman lost their matchup, causing Ward to play a game of cat and mouse and escape the pocket in order to throw this ball away. Now, this very much could have just been a poorly operated screenplay, but if it was, the running back had his back to Ward for way too long and it wouldn't have worked anyway. So this leads me to believe that the Rams pass rush just completely overwhelmed the Titans offensive line, ending this play before it even had time to develop. If it's not clear to you by now that the Tennessee Titans offensive problems stem from in the booth more than they do from the guy under center, then I don't know what you're seeing. Cam Ward was sent to maybe the worst situation in all of football, and I know his stats don't show it, but he's doing as much as a rookie in his first 6 games can do in that system. I mean, Tennessee is close to getting the 1st overall pick again next year. It's that bad. Regardless, knowing how talented Cam Ward is, I do think that this problem will get better as the season continues. Whether the new coach, whoever that ends up being, takes play calling privileges away from Bo Hardigree, or if Hardigree just figures out that what he did in the first game is causing more harm in the Titans offense than it is success, I do have optimism that Cam Ward will eventually be able to let his talent shine, and I guess firing their head coach is the very first step in that. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. This video was recorded before the interim head coach was announced, so if it ends up being Bo Hardigree, I'm gonna laugh so hard. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.